What's going on, guys? My name is Caleb and you are watching Built. Today we are going to be presenting ourselves with a little bit of a challenge. I've always wanted to try this and I just feel like it's time, mainly because we're being pushed into a corner and that's what we have to do this week, and so we're going to do it. Now you might think, well, if you're going to paint a car in 24 hours, it'd be smart to do something small like a Miata or a Volkswagen or a smart car. Instead, I picked the biggest car that I own, and that is my 2006 Nissan Titan. So earlier on last year, we bought this car and almost immediately put these massive 37-inch The Claw tires from Tread-Rite on. I've loved these things. We've put like 10,000 miles on them, and they have been great. Along with that, we needed to cover them with something, so we got in touch with Fiberworks and got some bed sides and front fenders. They're 4 inches wider than stock, and this thing looks awesome. I get so many questions about it, even though it's multicolored and ugly, and right now covered in bird feces of some sort. People still love this thing, but it is finally time to build it. All right, so the reason we're having to jump to this build is because, well, we just have to. We ordered some parts from Mercedes. They sent us the wrong ones. The MGB is still in the paint booth, paint shop. It's not done yet. The Mustang is still being tuned. We're still working out the kinks to that one. The Porsche, we're waiting on parts for to make the next video on that, and I think that's as far as we can zoom in. So we're gonna have to paint this instead. This is definitely an audible. I was not planning on doing this, but I have been thinking about this for a really, really long time, and so I have a really good idea of what color we're gonna go with. I actually already bought it, and I think we're gonna be able to do it in 24 hours. We just can't mess up. We can't mess up. That's it. Today's video is brought to you by Okai Scooters, more specifically the Neon. Now there's links in the description below and a discount code if you're interested in getting one of these for yourself. Now Okai has actually been around for a while, and you've probably ridden one of their scooters without knowing it because they offer scooters to a lot of big rental scooter companies, and they're finally moving into the consumer market, and this is one of the models that they're bringing into it. The Neon is a really cool scooter made with comfortable commuting in mind, but I live out in the country. I'm in Alabama, and so I wanted to make sure this thing could handle being outside. It looks very pretty, but can it deal with bumps, rough asphalt, dirt, maybe even trails? And I feel like the best place to test that was my local mountain biking spot. So we brought the scooter over there and ran it on the tracks, and honestly, it did really good. A lot more confidence inspiring than I expected, and it handled the bumps and dips and ruts of the trail really, really well. That's mostly thanks to the rear integrated suspension design that's built into the deck and the 8.5-inch pneumatic front tire. Both of these make for a pretty soft and comfortable ride even when you're off-road, but as you may imagine, this was not built as an off-road scooter, so we decided to take it downtown and really see what it could do in its element, and honestly, it is a lot of fun. This thing tops out at 16 miles an hour and can easily tackle hills up to a 20% grade, which is pretty awesome. And with its 36 volt 9.8 amp hour battery coupled with Okai's in-house smart battery management system, this thing will keep you going for 25 miles, about 40 kilometers before it needs to be charged again. Okai has created a completely integrated app for this scooter, so you can do things like change your settings, turn off regenerative braking, set your top speed, change your LED colors, and track your rides all within their app. This thing will fold up and lock just by pushing on the one latch, and then that makes it small to put in any car. So the question I had at the end of the day is, how does this apply to me as a car guy, or for you as car people? Where are you gonna actually use this thing other than riding around town or with your kids or whatever? And the answer for me is at car shows or at the track. Anywhere where you've got to cover a lot of ground and there's typically asphalt, this thing will do it for you, and because it folds up, it'll fit inside your car. And I tested that, and it fits in the 911, so it'll fit in anything. The scooter has been really fun to test out and review. Thank you so much to Okai for sponsoring this video. This will not be the end of the scooter on the channel. You will be seeing it again. We have a plan for it that I think will be really fun, really cool to do. But for now, let's get back to the video. So this whole truck actually won't fit in my paint booth, and the good news is I set this whole thing up to break down really easily. So these bed sides are actually made to actually replace the steel bed side. Mine kind of work as like an over bed side. It makes them fit a little high. That's what I was trying to think. They fit like maybe whatever the thickness of the fiberglass is, a couple millimeters high. It doesn't bother me because I can do this. And now the fender's off.
So it's 4 points of contact. You got one up here, one right there, one right here, and then one at the bottom. It's held up just fine. I've had these on the truck for, you can tell, a really long time, and it worked out really well. And they come off really easy. So if I ever want to do some work underneath here, I can just pull the whole side off. It's just no big deal. Really love this design. We're gonna clean this up for paint as well. You might notice my voice is like barely hanging on. I'm trying to make it. I've been really sick this week on top of all this stuff with the Mercedes and everything else that's gone wrong. So I'm feeling better, but I just don't sound very good. So I'm gonna try not to talk too much. It's hard for me. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and break down the rest of the truck, and we'll start moving stuff into the paint booth and I guess sanding and painting. So I'm gonna be dry sanding these instead of wet sanding just because of the paper that I was able to get from my machine. And I need them to be dry. So we went and grabbed our woolly mammoth towel from Chemical Guys, same one we used to dry off the Mercedes last week. This thing just works for drying stuff. So we're gonna run this over everything, get it pretty dry, then we'll be able to sand everything down and get it ready for paint. Alright, so we went ahead and blocked and sanded everything down with 400 grit. That's basically the lightest grit that you can sand and it not show through the paint. So we're not doing a bunch of body work on these, mainly because we don't have time. 2, they don't really need it. And 3, this is my trail rig slash tow rig slash rig. So I don't really care if it's perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be easy to repair. That's the goal. I want it to look cool. So that's what we're keeping in mind while we do this. And I think everything is going to look pretty okay. Or maybe it'll look okay. Alright, so we have the panels completely sanded down. I think they look pretty good. We've got to make sure all the contaminants are out before we start spraying paint on top of here. So what we're going to do is we got wax and grease remover in the gun. We're going to spray it on the panel, wipe it off, and we'll just keep doing that until nothing comes back on our rag. I do have some cleaner rags than this to use in a little bit, but this first pass is going to really dirty this thing up. So I just grab an old one, spray it, wipe it, and then we'll go back with a clean one. And it should be really clean. It should give us a good surface to paint on. We won't have any sort of weird imperfections show up. This step is really important because if you don't do this and there is oil or grease, even a really small amount on the surface when you start painting, you'll get things called fish eyes. You'll get certain kinds of reactions to the paint that can be really, really bad for the paint job and make it look awful. So we'll just make sure this thing is totally clean, and then when we paint, it should work. It should work. I normally paint over primer, so I'm a little nervous about this, but I think it's going to work out. I'm going to have to figure out a pattern that'll let me walk around all these without getting tangled up. At this stage, I'm actually pretty excited about it. This is going to be fun. I do have that. Hold your breath. All right, so anytime you buy any sort of paint, first of all, you're going to get it from a paint supplier, normally a local automotive paint supplier. You can Google and find one near you. The paint's going to come with what's called a data sheet, or it doesn't come with it, but if you go online, you can Google the data sheet for your specific paint. I've never used this paint before, so I looked this data sheet up, and it tells me the mix ratio, how long of a pot life it has, all the stuff you need to know that I think is kind of intimidating, but it shouldn't be. So as far as mix ratios go, when you go to the paint store, they will have these. This is a graduated cylinder. It's a paint cup that has different mix ratios on it. We're going to be using a 4 to 1 to 1, so we'll just follow this mix ratio right here on the cup. So if we want to mix, say, 5 parts, we'll do 5 of this one, and then we'll go to the 5 on the next one and a 5 on the next one, and then we know we have a perfectly mixed thing of paint. It's very, very simple. I had somebody recently message me, tell me they were intimidated by painting because of the mixing. The mixing is the easiest part. Use this, use your data sheet. You can't mess it up. We should record this because I'm pretty excited about seeing this color too. Tell me when you're ready. Okay. So I actually haven't seen this color yet. I'm very excited about it. This is a very new color. It's a Toyota color for, I think, 2022. Maybe they might have used it in 2021. I've never seen it on a truck. All right. Are we ready? Can you see it, Eric? Dude, it is so bright. This is the brightest thing I've ever seen. Are you ready? Look at this. Wow, dude. Look at that. That is a bright, bright color. Just a solid, super duper bright blue. Oh, it's got a little bit of pearl in there. Nice. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there is some pearl in there. That's cool looking. I like that a lot. This is called Flame Blue. It's Toyota color. It's new. I think it's this year. It might have been last year they introduced it. Similar to Voodoo Blue, but I'm going to bet the difference is that metallic. It just looks brighter somehow. I like that color. Yeah, it's like I went too heavy right now.
Okay, we're back in the shop. The paint is dry and it turned out okay. Basically last night everything was a little bit cold, and just like clear coat, when you spray it too cold, if the paint sits and doesn't cure fast enough, you get runs. So we do have a couple of runs, only one on this bedside, one on that bedside. So we'll test out and see if you can buff and polish this stuff. The internet says you can, so we'll try it, see if we can buff those out. The fenders though got like 2 or 3 each, which is not good. So it's hard to see on camera, but I'll try to get one just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. See it right there? So we'll probably end up respraying, spot spraying, I don't know. We'll do something to fix that, but we don't have time right now. And because of the temperature, the paint in some spots is still real soft. It's dry, but it's soft. And so I don't want to fiddle with that too much. We're gonna move these, be really careful and move these out of here so we can get the truck in and go ahead and get the truck painted. Temperature is always my problem when I'm painting because I always choose to paint in the middle of the winter. I think what I'm gonna do though, this is probably safe enough, is we'll go throw a fender and a bedside on the truck just to see what it looks like with these bright blue fenders on there with the gray body. It could look cool, but we'll do that real quick because I want to see it, and some of you guys probably do too. And then we'll put these in a safe place, pull the truck in, and get it sprayed. Let's see. Let me see what time it is. It is 10:08 a.m. We started yesterday at 2:38. We have 4 hours. Oh, we've got 4 hours. Okay. Whew. All right, so it's 10:08. We've got 4 hours left to be able to say we did this in 24 hours. Now, I'm not counting cure time on the truck. Obviously, it took 8 hours for these to cure, so it's going to take 8 hours for the truck to cure. Really 24 because of the temperature. But we've got 4 hours to get this thing done, which should work out good because that means it'll be the warmest part of the day when we're spraying the truck. But we got to get the truck in here to do that. Okay? Let's go. Dude, this is gonna look so crazy. Okay, awesome. Awesome. I can be optimistic about goals and projects, and a lot of times it does well for me because I get a lot of stuff done. Sometimes I bite off more than I could chew, and this may be one of those situations. We're getting close to 24 hours. It is it's 12:30. I just checked it. Yeah, 12. It's like 12:45 actually. So a little under 2 hours left, and we're not ready to spray yet. We still got a tape, which is a big one that could take a really long time. It's always kind of a crapshoot with masking. And then I want to sand these one more time just to make sure we didn't miss any spots, and we got to clean them. So we'll sand it, we'll clean everything, and then we'll mask, and then we'll be ready to spray. Even if we don't hit 24 hours, we'll obviously finish the truck in this video, but
and we'll just log it and we'll try again next time. But yeah, cutting it really, really close. I started to realize that sanding when I got to, well, really the emblems took long. But then when I got to the hood, I was like, oh yeah, this is a big vehicle. So anyway, we're gonna get it done. It is moving right along, and the color's cool. Another issue is just the temperature. It's really cold, so I'm gonna try to keep this from running. I just hope I can keep it from running down the doors. That'd be such a big bummer. We'll have to wait and find out. First, sand, clean, tape, more work. Okay, did a little taping, did a little wiping. Here's the downside. It's almost 2 o'clock. 2:30 is 24 hours. And we had to call an audible, so I have to go pick up my son from school. So I'm giving myself a handicap here. I don't know how long of a handicap I get, but put it in the comments below and we'll just subtract it from whatever the total time is. So I'm gonna go pick him up from school. We'll get back and start draping this thing. And then I think we'll be ready to paint. Wait, you don't have to cut the top off of that.
But it's not.
Oh, it's frozen.
Yeah, too frozen
Super
because
frozen.
I had to let it freeze over 2 nights.
Whoa. Let's see.
Oh, can I stay in here and watch you paint?
No, you can't be in here when I paint because of the chemicals, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't want to show it to you till tomorrow anyway. Because I'm going to... Wait, but you got to hear why. Can you hear why?
No.
Don't cry. I got to tell you why. So the paint takes a whole night to dry. Okay?
Daddy.
What? Anyway, the paint takes a whole night to dry. So we'll let it dry overnight, and then I don't have the fenders or anything on, so I want to put everything on and then show
Did you
it.
even paint?
No, I haven't painted it yet. But I don't have the fenders and stuff on, so I want to paint it and then put it all together so you
Well,
can
I
see
thought
it.
I heard you painting.
You out of here?
Yep.
See you, bud. Alright. It's masked, the whole thing. We're about to start painting. We're ready to spray. I think I'm gonna have to go. I think what I'm gonna do this time to make sure I don't get runs, because this is a bigger ordeal than repainting the fenders. Like redoing the fenders will take me a couple of hours, maybe not even that long, because I can just pull them off. But with all the masking, this takes forever. So I really don't want to mess it up. I think what I'm gonna do is do light coats. We're gonna mix it a little bit thicker. We're not gonna use as much thinner. And we'll do light coats with plenty of flash off time in between. And I think that's gonna do it. If it runs then, at least we know we did our best, and we'll repaint this thing when it's warm. I don't normally get nervous about painting, but I hate painting in the cold. But here we go, we're doing it. This is for you guys. I hope you're having fun watching my torture. It is 4 o'clock, 4. It did take me an hour to go get the boys. I left at 2, got back at 3. I'm at 25 and a half hours right now from the time of start till now. I did sleep, so like, you know, that's good. It hadn't been a straight 25 hours, but time-wise, 25 and a half hours to spraying. I think it's gonna probably take me about 2 hours to spray this thing. Maybe like an hour, we'll see. I'm gonna set the camera up for the first pass. It's gonna start getting kind of foggy in here, so we'll probably, we'll probably get the first pass around the truck. I'm by myself right now, so we'll get the first pass around the truck, and then I'll come back after it's done, and hopefully we don't have any runs. Wish me luck.
I think it looks okay. Honestly, I think it looks really... What's okay mean?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you asked. It is super bright, and there's definitely more metallic than I realized. I would have probably changed my spray pattern if I realized how much metallic was in this, because we did get some striping that you see when the sun hits it directly. So we may address that later, I don't know. But I think it looks awesome. It doesn't even look real, especially on camera. It looks like photoshopped or something, but it's not. That is the real color, and it is super blue. We do have these pieces under the headlights as well, but I have to get new clips for those because the clips broke when I pulled them off, so we'll get those and do that whenever we build the front end. This was a huge challenge for me. 24 hours is not a long time to paint a car. I think 48 is probably ideal if you're trying to do this at home, but 24 is doable. You just have to not stop and move really quickly. We finished at 5:40, which means we were 27 hours and 10 minutes, but I'm gonna subtract an hour because I had to go get my son from school. So 26 hours. Hey, y'all don't fight. Let me finish my video. Huge thank you to Okai for sponsoring this video and making this thing possible. Also, another big thank you to Treadright and Fiberworks for providing the tires and the fenders for this build. This thing looks so much better and so much crazier in this bright shade of blue. Am I even in the screen? I think I was just off screen. Now, I do have a full plan for this build, and it is gonna be coming, but there's other things I wanna finish first. This was like a huge audible we had to call to get a video out for this weekend. So we'll be back to the Mercedes for next weekend. We'll get it completely sorted. We've got the MG coming up really soon. I just got the call from the paint guy. He told me that he thinks we'll be painting this week, which is really exciting, so we'll get to video that. I've got a secret project I've been working on for my children that I'm gonna show you guys in a little bit, and we'll also be working on doing the modifications to this. We do have some mods coming from this that are gonna be really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a crazy random video, but I had fun doing it, sort of.
What's the secret project?
Now that it's over with, it's fun. We can't tell them. It's the thing I'm building for you. It wasn't necessarily fun during the process, but it is fun now. Now that the...
Told them what it is.
No, they don't know yet. Now that it's done in blue, I am so excited. All right, I think that's all for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.